Looking for amazing products to help boost your first-class lifestyle? Then head over to firstclasslifeshop.com, where you can treat yourself to personal development books and workbooks, lifestyle affirmation cards, adult coloring books, mugs, notebooks, hoodies, t-shirts, leggings, and more. All products were designed to help you master your mindset, walk in your purpose, and live your first-class life because you deserve it. So treat yourself today at firstclasslifeshop.com. Again, that's firstclasslifeshop.com.
Because something that you had is lost and you spend a lot of time with it. And so we spend a lot of time in student athlete development preparing them for the time that they're no longer a student athlete to define themselves in more than one role. So I tell my clients to say, look, you're a mother, you're a daughter, you're a wife, you are an athletic director, you are a aunt. Because see, when one side dimps down, the other will push it back up. But if you own, that's why I said about the spiral up the mountain, then just go straight up. Because it takes time to build these relationships. These are different identities that you have. But if all you do, that's the same thing with a student athlete. If all you do in your 4 years of college is just go and play ball, you don't even know your professor's name. Professor don't know your name. You don't crack a book.
You're listening to the First Class Life Show, hosted by Lindsay Vertner, a holistic personal development show for high-achieving leaders who desire to maximize their impact while creating a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. So grab a drink, grab your notebook, and let's get started. Hey there, welcome back to another episode of the First Class Life Show, and I'm super excited about today's guest. And you know how we do. We are just going to hop right into it. You can read our bio over in the description, but we are here with the beautiful Monique A.J. Smith. So welcome to the First Class Life Studios, Monique. How are you?
I'm doing well, Lindsay.
Yes. Good to see your smiling face. Now, I need you to tell the First Class family that's tuned in right now, who is Monique? Let us know, peel back the curtains, give us the good details, sis. Come on.
Well, Monique A.J. Smith is a leadership strategist for athletic departments, sport organizations, and individuals who wish to advance in athletic administration. I have a lot of firsts in my life. I've been in athletic administration for 30 years. I was one of the first women in the business, but I will tell you, I thank you. And I try not to make the journey of other women in leadership and athletics smoother, but help them navigate. And so I kind of do that through leadership principles.
Nice. Now, how did you get into being a leader? Have you always been a leader since you were younger, or is it something that you kind of fell into along the way?
No, I've always been that leader. I'll never forget. I'm from Sussex County, Virginia, and we didn't have kindergarten, but we had a summer program that was before the first grade. And I remember the kids asking me how to play Ring Around the Roses. Just ask me. And I'm going like, first of all, I'm an only child. I wasn't around kids, so I don't know. But it's just something about people always came to me asking me how we're going to do something. And so, and unfortunately or fortunately, I've always been organized. So if you came to my house to have a play day, I already had it written out which board game we're going to play first. And how we're going to decide who's going to play first. So, yeah, and I'm 54 now. So, yeah, I've been doing it a lot.
Oh, goodness, having a play day agenda already prepped out.
Yes, that was me.
Nice. So was it easy for you to make friends when you were younger?
Well, that's funny. Well, it's I can make friends, but the question is keep them because you come to my house and we having a thing. But I am blessed to have childhood friends that are very still close to me. I have one I call my god sister, and I have another one I call my best friend, so we don't have to have any colliding together. But yeah, And I would say, we're coming from a small town community. Both my parents were school teachers, so everybody knew me before they even knew me, if you know what I mean. It's interesting because there's some truth to privileges that we're not even aware that we have. So because my parents were both school teachers, I knew all the principals and whatnot. And I knew my first name. And so I didn't have a fear of going up to them and say, because I was SGA president in high school and assistant when I was like in 11th grade. So I would go to the principal's office. Well, why are we not having this dance? Where is our school spirit? I just went straight to the principal. I didn't know I was supposed to talk to the advisor and then go to him. Yeah. So it was a learning experience quite early about chain of command and how to get things done and not get blackballed. And so it's funny because I had a student today. I teach at Hampton University. I teach sports management courses. And the student just texted me this morning to ask, how can we get esports club going? He came, and he's already graduated, but he's going to go to grad school. And I'm just like, why would he think I would know? You the one who would play esports. I was telling him that this is a career he plays all the time. But I don't know. I know the person who to tell him to do it. So that's what I did. So I am a connector. That's what people do call me. I am a connector.
A connector. Now, I've heard people call themselves a connector before. And, I know that there's a lot of pieces to connecting. It seems like, I'm just doing this, I'm doing this. But for some people, that does not come naturally at all. But it sounds like for you that it does. So what are some things that stood out to you where you started to recognize, like, wait a minute, I have a gift, I have a skill for connecting people to each other?
Well, that's interesting that we say that because it really does go into my consulting. Because when you are first and you are among the majority, and if you make the right kind of relationships, they feel comfortable to ask, I'm looking for blank, blank, blank. Would you know someone? And so that has been my MO because I want to increase the pipeline of Black women in athletic administration. And that's how you do it. You share your resources, and resources meaning people. And I have been blessed that I think I shared with you before. I have my podcast. It's been 8 seasons, but with that, I'm introducing the next crop of women in the business. At first it was, all the legends. But when I heard, it was like, we want to see people that are navigating the space right now, such as I. So that has been helpful. So again, today, someone would say, I have an opening. Can you recommend so-and-so? Or someone says, I have applied for a job at so-and-so. Do you know anybody there? High school friends. My cousin, uncle, godchild is in sports. How did he navigate this? What did he do with this? So, yeah, it's always been that way. And don't ask me how to cook your recipes. I'm not your girl.
Hey, you're late and you stay in it. I love it. I love it. So something stood out to me as you were speaking was that, you usher in that next group of Black women into the sports business because I know that you were one of the only people that looked like you in your profession, which we'll dive a little bit more into that. But before we get into that part, I want to touch on this collaboration over competition.
No.
I know that is a very big thing within the female community, this competitiveness, this cattiness, well, if you are there, then I can't be there. And, there's the stereotype that women can't work together because we're always catty and competitive and all of those things. And then it doubles once you add Black women to it, because, then you have a whole new set of guidelines that kind of creep in as far as, well, there literally could only be one token Black person. And so if you're that token Black person, then I can't be that token Black person. So now we're fighting to be the token Black person and be accepted. So many different things encompassed into this one thing. So tell us, when did you start to recognize, that it's better to collaborate and to, open the door, especially after I've already walked through the door, versus, trying to keep it all to yourself?
Well, I got a couple of things I want to talk about that. Okay. Because first of all, back in the day, because you kind of, the term was queen bee syndrome.
Yeah.
I'm here. It's only going to be one queen. And unless you can knock me off the throne, it's only be one queen. Mm-hmm. And so I experienced that early in my career. So I came from being an athletic director at 28 years old. And then I went to a Division I level. And it felt like, I had already ran my own shop, but then I had to start over again, which is no different from, going from any other organization. And so I had some experiences I thought I could share. And, when I share them, and these are all women and they're all Black women, they definitely shut me down, made me feel like this. Mm-hmm. And I said, again, now I'm doing hindsight a little bit. I'm going like, as I look back, none of them had run a department. All of them had a desire to go and be athletic director like me. But I repositioned myself in another position because, again, it was a lower level. Mm-hmm. Okay, then I move up and I had to start over again. But that's what fueled me. This was like 98, 99. I said, no woman would ever feel the way I felt. And so that pushed me to make sure I share my resources. I would say I wasn't that so concentrated on that before. I was a sports information director at first, and that's like the sports PR person, promoting my teams, my players, taking my student and, training them in the SID world. But then when I began to accept the role of the few women athletic directors, I see, okay, it's not okay to be the first. It's not okay to be the only. It's your responsibility to make sure you're not the only. Okay? And so that's why I took that on, and I was in my early 30s. Okay. But I will say this, by taking that on, knowing that you got people coming behind you, there's some pressures going on with that I cannot fail. Whatever I do, I'll make it bad for the next. Okay. And I'm gonna be real transparent. Because we are human beings and we're leaders, some other things, there's some sacrifices in life. Mm-hmm. And not everybody has the same type of sacrifice. And you see it as being strong. I may see it as being a failure. Mm-hmm. And so we try to mask that. And that's where you get into trouble. And I will say, again, I'm in my 50s now. I can see where women have reached that mountain. And I go like, it's best to spiral up the mountain than go straight up the mountain. Because when you spiral up, you're able to experience 4 seasons of life. You're able to have time with other people. So that when you're up here by yourself, you can't go like, oh, this is what it's all about? Or where is everybody? Like I remember having family members that got married and had children. I said, I don't remember going to the wedding. I didn't get an invite because I was never around. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And here the people, I'm going to high school graduations. Hey, you were born. That's why I was like, snap back. I'm going to have to, experience full life. Because again, when you're just trying to make it, you're just trying to go up the hill. And you're not looking at experiencing all of life. And I will say, and since the pandemic, I've seen many women give up the ADC to be a number 2 for their family. And I'm proud of that. Or go to an organization where they are in the mix, but not the top person, so that they can. Because again, kids are not going to stay kids forever. So you don't want to miss out on all of that. Now, I am married. I'm in my second marriage. My first marriage did end. And that was what I was talking about, feeling like a failure, and how to deal with that. And I didn't really deal with it. And I don't have children, but I am a caregiver. My mother does live with me. So I have to definitely consider other people now. You see?
Yeah. That is definitely something to be mindful of, that you aren't so focused on making it that you go straight up ignoring all the relationships around you, because, we're in this life to do life together, and we all have a natural instinct, a natural urge to want to be connected to other people. And so what advice would you give to any leaders listening right now that maybe feel like they don't have the best relationship building skills?
Well, relationship building skills. It's funny because you went to it in the beginning. You asked childhood, like when you think about it, when you were a kid and your parents were in the store and you saw another kid, you automatically said, I got a new friend. I don't know. My god sister was very shy, so she wouldn't probably say that. But for me, that's how I was. If you were on my eye level, oh no, we could bond. We're gonna be able to connect. And I would say, and if you were, I am my only child, so I can play by myself. I like to read, but I'm definitely not an introvert. But I would say, and my god sister was and she feeds off of me to make her connections. So I would say, if you're an extrovert, just slow down a little bit to connect with folks. If you're an introvert, start with the one you do know, and be able to connect with other individuals, like connect. And it's really important because it's like, I teach this. So it's like, how you communicate. So if I'm an extrovert, I'm all up, hey, how you doing? I need to slow down to be able to connect. Okay, but if you're an introvert, you need to speed up. You follow me? But you have quality relationships because you do the 1-1-1. I'm just saying, increase your 1-1-1s. I'm not saying you go on the stage and say, hey, look at me. But if you go into the room, and I do this now, I strategically pick who do I want to meet if I go to a conference. Okay. Yeah. And then if I don't know anybody, I go 0 on the 1. And luckily the person, this happened to me last weekend. I went to a Hall of Fame ceremony. I went to the person who was my former client, and he must know how I tick, because I stood right there and everybody that passed by, hey, do you know Monique? Do you know me? I met all the superintendents and everybody, you know what I mean? And she did so and so and so. So that's kind of an example of an introvert going to the one person you do know and having them introduce you to have more 1-1-1s.
So that made me think of a question.
Okay.
For the for the introverted family that's tuned in right now, what if they do go to that conference or that event or, that function, and they don't know anyone to approach them and help them to expand their 1-1-1? Then what advice would you give then?
I would say do the same. Find one person that you want to meet. Or one, it's the same thing as a kid. Somebody's on your eye level. Someone who may be sitting where everybody else is talking. That's a person at your eye level. Somebody who communicates the same way what you do, and make a connection that way.
Yeah, I like that. And I like that you explain somebody at your eye level, somebody that communicates the same way that you do, because you already have a connection right there. Like, oh, wait, she's kind of quiet, I'm kind of quiet.
Mm-hmm.
It might might have to put a little extra effort in making the connection, but it's not as intimidating as if you're a quiet person and you're walking up to the loudest person in the room.
Oh, yeah, that can be intimidating.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can be intimidating.
I am naturally an extrovert, so but I could definitely see how that
Yeah,
really
you scare the poor child away. Yeah. As my husband would say, where your cool points? Where your cool points?
Nice. So you mentioned that you were an athletic director at the age of 28. And that seems like, a higher level. Not everybody is familiar with the hierarchy of, athletics and things like that. And so kind of explain how you obtained getting a position of that nature at what some would consider a young age.
Yeah, it was. It was very much so. And let's be clear, it's by default. I was hired by a woman who was the first female athletic director for the CIAA, which is Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association, HBCU, Historically Black College University, Division II conference. And so everything's happy-go-lucky. And then she became ill after my first year. Mm-hmm. And I went through 5 different athletic directors, 5 different supervisors. So an athletic director is very similar to the principal. Okay. All right. And so they oversee all grades. So the teachers are the coaches. Okay. So that kind of helps you understand a little bit. The superintendent is like the president of a college. Okay. So, yes. And I was an administrator. I was, again, for all the teams, I was doing all the computerized stats and stories, programs, all the publicity for the team. So that's what I did. And it just so happens that I couldn't get my roster done until somebody went to find out who was eligible. So therefore, I was a person who saw a problem, took the initiative to solve it. So after 5 years of going through 5 different people, I was the most consistent person. I happened to be at the Olympics, working as a volunteer for basketball. My president tracks me down and says, your athletic director is leaving. I would like for you to take the position. And I was like, and I already told you I was going through some stuff. And I was like, I don't know. Let me think about it. So took that night to think about it. That night, the Atlanta bomb goes off at the Olympics in '96. And I said, life is too short. I shall take it and I will learn on a job like our other counterparts would do. And that's what I did.
I love that. So it sounds like you had some hesitation as far as accepting the position, and maybe you can expand on what some of those hesitations were.
Well, and it's interesting because I'm going to do, I haven't decided how I'm going to do it, but another, maybe a challenge or a mastermind on the topic of politics is not a dirty word. Mm-hmm. And it's nothing but a game. And so that's the main thing when many women do not want to advance because they don't want to deal with the politics. But do you play spades?
Not in a long time, but yes.
Okay, so I try to use spades to explain politics. It is spending the time of building relationships to be able to beat the issue, to beat the hand. Okay. And most of the time it may not be you playing. You can play off and the other person play for you. If you spend time building great relationships, or the person can tell you, well, based on my experience. So those are the things. The main thing is always the politics. They think that if I just do my job, hold my head down, I will advance. And I'm here to tell you, staying at one job, holding your head down, getting a gold watch are over. It's over. I don't care what industry you're in. Okay? And so you got to be able to learn how to promote yourself. You got to be able to spend, and anytime you get that nervousness, like, oh, what's going to happen? Like the pandemic. I mean, decisions were fluid. And people who need to have consistent, rigid thing, they're freaking out. People are spontaneous. Okay, we can go with the flow. But if you can take the part of, we're all in this, when the rules are being written as we go, spend your time building relationships with those who are making those decisions. You'll learn something from it. You'll get a connection with someone, and it hopefully will calm your nerves versus staring at the water cooler and talking about what coulda, shoulda, woulda, And so being young, I'll be honest with you, I learned after getting the job about relationships beyond your unit. So I'm in this position. I can't move the bus because we haven't paid the bus company and I don't know when. I can't get the uniforms because we ain't paid that bill, So the relationship building had to go beyond the people I see every day. I had to go and build a good relationship with the accountant guy. So then I can tell myself, look, you need to pay these people. You can hold off on that one, because he's the one who told me, you just can't come in here and demand about your check. You need to come in and say, hi, how you doing? I'm like, yeah, but I ain't got time for all that. Like, I even right now, I have a real hard time with doing the niceties on a text because I feel like we already know each other. The conversations continue. I don't really feel like, and don't do this. Do not do this. But I don't feel like I need to go like, oh, I hope you do well. How's everybody? When I got something I need to get to. So that would say really relationships outside help me elevate. But I didn't know that. And it took somebody at eye level. This person was young like me, and we used to call him Little Boy Wonder. I mean, the president really just loved everything he did, and he was brand new. And it was somehow or another, it's like game, respect, game. You know what I mean? And so he was helping me, and he loves sports. And I'm all like, look, I don't need no more fans. If you want to be over here, you need to bring some skills and help us. And then you can hang out with us. I ain't giving no gear out until you prove your worth. So he showed me how to do spreadsheets, and then I showed him some stuff. I mean, that's the kind of thing that you, about building relationships with folks, letting your barrier down so that you can grow a little bit more. And I honestly, it was more my personal life, my self-confidence with them. And then when I said yes, and then got out of my gym and went up the hill to another office, saw another person at Island who could help me, okay, my confidence went up. So I always tell women too, I said, you need to be networking with other people in other parts of the campus or other industries. Let's just say you got a sponsor that's a bank, and she has leadership experiences very similar to yours. Take her out to lunch. You don't have to be looking for somebody that's in your back door and fear for the politics of it getting back. That's why networking across industries, big networking within industries is so important.
Yes. What I heard you say in that was you have to be okay with getting outside of your comfort zone.
Very much so. Mm-hmm.
And so for everybody that's tuned in right now, what advice would you give to help get outside of your comfort zone? Because, it's very true. Success is outside of our comfort zone. Sometimes to meet the people that we need to meet, or maybe they're the key to our next breakthrough, is outside of our comfort zone. Or, sometimes I hear people complain, well, I don't have the support like such and such, and nobody supports me. And it's like, well, when's the last time you've been outside of your comfort zone to find that support and or create that support? So what advice would you give to help people get outside of their comfort zone? Are you loving the First Class Live show? Then join our private Patreon community. Not only will you help to support our ability to provide you with great content, but you can also get exclusive perks like bonus videos and resources, discounts, episode transcripts, and more. So what are you waiting for? Join today at patreon.com/first class life. Again, that's Patreon, patreon.com/first class life.
Well, first, you got to get okay with being uncomfortable, because that's the only way growth is going to happen. That's one reason why my podcast called Chat in the Garden, because I'm talking in the garden. I'm talking in a place where you're going to grow. Mm-hmm. I'm not up here with this good Philly stuff. Now, cherry, happy flowers, okay? But it took a lot for this flower to grow, to be beautiful, all right? It had to go through a lot of dirt. And dirt can mean a whole lot. If you're from the country, you really know what dirt is really made of. So I'm from the country. That's what I say. And so even Mary got a song called come out dirt and what it makes. Okay. And so you got to be able to embrace that. And it smells kind of bad. All right. So you're going to have to be able to accept that. Okay. Because honestly, if you don't grow, you're going to wither and die. Okay. The other part is I wrote a blog for the Boss Network called Lead Your Ship. Lead Your Ship. And my last line was own your ship to lead your ship. Okay. And so, this part about blaming other people because they have, better support systems and things like that. You need to do self-awareness. I mean, the first part of leadership is self-awareness. And, what does support look like? Because not everybody has the capacity to support everyone the same way.
Yeah.
So you need to examine that. And I like to say, put down 5 things that guide your decisions. And then when you look at that, and you continue to see that everyone else, the family, you see things where people are accepting you. If you got 5 out of 5 and none of it's anything that you decide, that's because you decide other people's guiding your ship and not you. So you need to do some things like, okay, now even if it's a grandmother and, she guides you and she's always been your support system. I got that. But if they spent all this time with you, something they said becomes ownership in you. So that means own your ship. No, I believe in this. Not because my grandmama told me. It's part of my makeup now. And that's what all people want to do. That's why I call my company Seeds of Empowerment. Planting seeds of empowerment to lead others to greatness. I'm not going with them. I'm just planting a seed.
I like that. I love that, actually.
Thank you.
To lead others to greatness, because really that's what a good leader does. A great leader creates other leaders. It's not about bossing people around and saying, well, you do this and you do this and you do what I say because I'm the leader. That's not a very good leader. That's a manager. But a great impactful leader creates other leaders. And I know that sometimes people get scared to be replaced, and you kind of have to shift the perspective, because on the one hand, you want to create leaders in whatever skills and talents that they are purposed to be a leader in, but also you can't lead everyone. And so, yes, I want you to do great and do better than me, because eventually I will need to be replaced.
Right. And the thing is, that's what I mean about the politics. It's the fear of, and I saw it very early on, it's like playing it safe. You think, well, if I don't take this position, then they won't cut me. They'll just keep me because I'm going to be right here. I'm not stirring up the pot. Well, that means, and there's another book that I'm using with my clients. It's called Rookie Smarts. And so the thought of is even the veterans need to look at situations as a rookie would, because a rookie would do what? Ask questions, observe. You follow me? Because it's the thought of, I've got the season, I already know But that is thinking, because the world is fluid right now. And the companies are going to take people who have a diversity of thought, who got creative ideas. So my point is, the veteran person eliminates themselves with their mindset. Nobody's doing it to you.
Yeah.
And so replacement could be repositioning, reparting, but it's all in how you look at the perspective of it. Because, we got the gigantic resignation going on right now. Before that, we had, I bet you your bank that you bank at now has had 3 or 4 names since the time you actually joined that bank. The consolidations. You're not going to have 2 vice presidents. And that has nothing to do with the person. You understand? It's everything to do with how society is right now. And that's where in the 4 agreements, I think I talked to you about it before, how I use that with my clients. Don't take it personal. It's the position that is being retitled. You're not being retitled. Everything you learn from that time, you're going to take it to your next. Or you put your own shingle out. That becomes your intellectual property that belongs to you no matter what happens.
Something that you said is that position is being retitled. You aren't being retitled. And that stood out to me because a lot of people put their worth in the titles that they have. And so when they lose the titles, then they lose the confidence that they had with the title as well. What can you say about that?
Well, in athletics, we have something that we use to try to develop our student athletes. It's called identity foreclosure. When you're no longer an athlete, and they, any kind of change, there's a grieving process because something that you had is lost, and you spend a lot of time with it. And so we spend a lot of time in student athlete development preparing them for the time that they're no longer a student athlete, to define themselves in more than one role. So I tell my clients to say, look, you're a mother, you're a daughter, you're a wife, you are an athletic director, you are a aunt. Because see, when one side dimps down, the other will push it back up. But if you own, that's why I said about the spiral up the mountain, then just go straight up. Because it takes time to build these relationships. These are different identities that you have. But if all you do, that's the same thing with a student athlete. If all you do in your 4 years of college is just go and play ball, you don't even know your professor's name. Professor don't know your name. You don't crack a book open, and then when it's time, nobody, again, the blame game. Nobody prepared me for life after sports. So the same thing goes with any kind of industry. What are you doing about your professional development while you are where you are? And see, the thing, it is not that your institution, your job's responsibility to give you money to go pay for professional development. You should be saving that for you, because guess what? Whatever you learn, you're going to take with you. So you have, again, when I say own your ship, own your identity. Decide what you want to be known for. What is your tagline on the bottom of your email? I say it all the time. This is not being pink slip proof, but you need to be able to put your name and a ... in your job, in your title, not a comma. We need a ... because you're more than just that title.
Got it. You are more than just that title. And right now, I think this is a great time to just take a quick pause and play a little game if you are down. Yes, yes. Okay. So I like to play first class favorites. And this is really fun. It's really easy. All I'm going to do is give you a prompt and you fill in the blank. Simple, right? Okay. The catch is you have to answer in 10 seconds or less. So let me grab my timer. And It's nice because I'm going to explain a little bit more about why First Class Favorites is so amazing, why it's popping, okay? But I'm going to start you with something easy, all right? So,
Please
what
do.
is your favorite color? Go.
Lavender.
Oh, nice and simple. And I like that you pick lavender because, purple and gold that's my thing. And so lavender is a shade of purple. So bonus points. Nice. That was easy, right?
That's the way.
What is your favorite movie? Go.
Right now, it comes to my mind, Dirty Dancing. I don't know why. Oh, no. Loving Basketball.
Got it. So Dirty Dancing and Love and Basketball. We'll take both of them. You got both of them in the 10 seconds too, like barely at the timer. So what is your favorite song? And you gotta, say the title and the artist. Go.
Oh, Always and Forever by Heat Wave.
Yes. Can you give us a little rendition?
No, I can't sing it.
Hey, at least you know your strengths, right?
This is true.
What is your favorite book, author, and title? Go.
Right now, I would just, I can't say the man's name. I'm going to pick another one. Learner. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. You see all these books. It's like, pick one of my children. You just don't understand. And that's by Learner. And that was a real one about women and men communicating, how we communicate differently.
So it's called You Just Don't Understand by Learner.
Yeah, her last name is Learner.
Okay. You'll have to make sure you get that first name to me as well. So
Okay.
We'll Google it.
Yeah.
What is, right? University of Google. We'll find it.
Yeah, right.
What is your favorite place to travel specifically? Go.
I would like to return to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Oh, do tell. Explain.
Yes, I'm representing my commissioner at a commissioners meeting in Idaho. And my room was on a yacht. I mean, there are boats right beside me. I had windows all the way around. It was beautiful, just absolutely beautiful. I stayed 2 nights, just totally in awe. And it was relaxing. It was so relaxing. I want to get back.
Nice. Speaking of relaxing, what is your favorite activity to do to relax? Go.
Read.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you for playing First Class Life Favorites. And this game is so special because a few of those answers are going to go to our special First Class Favorite Things list. Okay, so your favorite book, travel, relaxing activity, and songs. Now, if you want access to this list, First Class family, you have to make sure that you are a member of our Patreon community so that you can get our uniquely curated list of First Class favorite things, because it's an ongoing list that was authored by all of our phenomenal guests here at the First Class Live show. So thank you for contributing, Monique AJ Smith.
Thank you for asking.
Yes. Now let's hop back into this conversation because, it's been good and it's only getting better. So we've talked about, building those connections and building those relationships and the confidence that we need to maintain outside of our titles. And so I know that you often use the 4 agreements when you're working with your clients. And so how does the 4 agreements work with connections and relationship building and building your confidence?
Well, I'm going to take a squiggle just for a second because that does require a launching part. So because the 4 agreements is nothing but dealing with relationships. And so the 4 agreements are don't take anything personal. Always do your best. So when I deal with perfectionists, I'm like, this is the one you need to concentrate on. Okay. And again, we talking about positions, talking about titles. I always say that they're attacking the position, not the person. No matter who was in that position, they would been upset with, you know. And so the third one would be never make assumptions. So this is asking questions. So when you assume something, you think people understand, you think that they're upset with you, ask the question. All right. And then lastly, which is I think is the most important one, is be impeccable with your word. And yes, it's obvious, you know, when you say something, you say what you mean, you know, don't gossip. But the part that's the most important is the words you say to yourself. And you can shipwreck yourself because you have a whole scenario. And again, it's a relationship. You thinking somebody's upset with you. Again, go through the 4 agreements, which one, and let that be your lifesaver, you know, get you out of the water because you didn't shipwreck. And that's what I mean about using this 4 agreements to help guide people's leadership.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I actually have that book on one of these bookshelves.
Yes.
Not that one. That's my spiritual bookshelf. And so, right?
Oh, no, she got categories.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yes. I just throw it in there.
It is in my office. It is one of, in a higher, a grade, I should say. Like if you had to grade the books, all of the other books are like in a whole nother floor on a whole nother room. And so, but yeah, I have like a spiritual area right there. I have all my books in one area, like all of my friends' books or people where I actually know the authors in another area, all my personal development. Yeah, girl.
I think that might be a fun project whenever I get some time.
Yes.
My husband did my office, so I don't know how he did the books. You know, that's why I can't find anything, but that's fine. That's good. I better look for something and I find something else and I start reading that. So that's good.
Yes, I always have to organize my own book. So when I'm looking for something specific, I know where to find it because I love to read just like you. So I would like to ask you a very, very important question. So if you are new to the First Class family, then I need to inform you that First Class Life is actually an acronym for all of the characteristics and skills that you want to embody into your lifestyle to create a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness, okay? Because you determine the quality of life that you live. They say the life that you're living right now is a result of the thoughts you had 5 years ago. And so it's important that we're intentional about what we are creating in our life. And so if you want to know what those factors mean, then you have 2 options. One, you could either go listen to the very first episode of the First Class Life podcast, where I explain each of the factors in detail. Or 2, you can head to firstclasslifeshop.com and buy the book, okay? And I explain it again, plus you got bonus resources. But as for now, in the moment on today, Miss Monique AJ Smith, please tell us which key factor of First Class Life do you resonate with the most?
I put down 2. Okay.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, good. So the first one would be leadership. Okay, because that's all me. That's just been me since day one. I think again, the first person you need to lead is yourself. And so my second one will be reflective. So reflective, it goes with being self-aware of your actions and your thoughts, because your thoughts end up to be the actions you do. And then you look at your habits, because your habits, again, accumulation of it becomes either good habits or bad habits. And you have to be reflective to figure out what you're doing in order to course correct so you won't shipwreck.
Yes, so you won't shipwreck. Okay. And that was perfect because, yes, that's exactly part of the way that I define it. Definitely with reflective, being aware of how you impact your environment and vice versa, how your environment impacts you. So you got to have that self awareness, especially if you're going to be an impactful leader. So I love that you chose those two. Nice, nice, nice. So we've talked a little bit about what you do with your clients. Tell us exactly what it is that you do today, and then share what products or services you have that the First Class family could potentially use.
Well, so as a leadership strategist, the part where I deal with individuals, I really enjoy that. So I have a couple of ways I do that. One is one-on-one executive coaching. So that's for individuals who wish to be in athletic administration. And second, it is a group coaching. I call it the mastermind. Because some people want to be able to just to have a safe place to talk about things that's going on, and then my strategy for helping them in their leadership. Most times this is an athletic director sitting in the seat. Well, then we have the others who want to advance, and you can get that from me from group coaching. But you also get to network with the other women who are on that journey. And I do some expert training, all right, on expertise. Like I said, I'm using the book Rookie Smarts, right? So I do it together and I record it. And then some people can do it, do it yourself, DIY. And they can go look at the piece on their own. So that's how I kind of serve both groups. One is one-on-one, is a higher level, and then there's a group, and we meet every third Sunday by Zoom, so to connect. And then I have a private Facebook group called A Chat in the Garden with Monique AJ Smith, which has 2,300 individuals. 90% are women. And it's a companion to the podcast where I interview African American female athletic administrators every week. And that's chatinthegarden.com. So that's how I serve my community. Most of the time, which now we're opening it back up, I do travel to do university workshops for staff retreats, or I do some work with the student athletes in that capacity. And when I do travel, I try to have connecting events, whatever hotel I'm in, I either have it in the morning or the evening. Because again, here's the funny thing. People can live in the same city, don't even know each other. But when I come in, I connect vines and minds.
I connect vines and minds. Nice, nice. Now, I know you have a special product that you would like to share, promotion. Go ahead and tell the First Class family about that.
Well, I think this would be great for this group because this is removing the face. And my chapter is Public Figure Mask, Exit Stage Left. And what I like to share, again, is how to deal with the pressure of being a first. So that becomes across industries. How do you do that? And to be really cautious, because I will tell you, depression for the high achiever looks different than what you see in general population. They Definitely. Do things differently. And I hit a wall literally and figuratively. And I talk about that in my chapter.
Yes. So go ahead.
You find that at my store. It's called payhip.com Seeds of Empowerment. Payhip.com/Seeds of Empowerment. And you will find the book there. And I do have a code for our group here, and it was going to call it First Class Life is the code. First Class Life, and you will get 25% off the book.
Nice. So to purchase this book, head over. Don't worry, all of the links will be in the description. First Class Life will get you 25% off of that book. Now, listen, you just said about the high achieving leader and what that looks like with depression. And so I know we're wrapping up, we're closing this show out, but if it's okay, I just want to ask you one more little question around that, because I think it's very important that we do talk about what depression looks like for the high achieving leader, because it often is not stereotypical to what the media shows us or to what the average person deals with depression. So could you share just a little bit of what are some signs that you may have depression as a high achieving leader?
Well, one of them, I'm thinking about my clients that I've said this to, and they're like, "Oh, you're right," and then they go seek therapy. You can't find your keys. Like, you constantly can't find anything. You just feel very disorganized. Where now, if you were always losing your keys, it doesn't make a difference. But if you're one of those people who seem to be organized and can't ever find anything, you can't get anything done. That just means you're disoriented and it is causing a problem. Another one is people telling you that you're hollering. Why are you hollering? And you don't even know that you're hollering. You're snappy. You don't even know that you're snappy. That's a sign that you need to go get checked out, and the smallest thing, you just go over the top. Like you have more mountains than molehills than Denver, Colorado. Okay. I mean, it's just over the top. And that just tells you that you need to get that checked out. And it also looks like, oh, you're so busy. You want to stay busy because you don't want to feel. You're trying to, you have a void and you're filling it with work and being busy and having your calendar continuously full. And honestly, not wanting to go home because you don't want to be by yourself. So I'm going to find things. And honestly, nothing wrong with working hard, nothing wrong with that. But I think it's great for it's balance and integration, how your family traveling with you or whatnot. Or when you do travel, you make sure, like, this is what I would do. I would always try to find a museum to go to, or something like that. So then that, that, again, the identity part, I'm a book lover. I'm an athletic director. You see what I'm saying? And they say go buy the books. Just go look at the bookstore, because otherwise you become a shopaholic. Okay. But yeah, you just be there to identify yourself. And then, so if you identify yourself, as an aunt, when's the last time you communicated with your people? And so those are the things that just look different. And honestly, the real big thing is that you just don't want to sit still. You don't know how to just, I remember when somebody told me, I live right here near, I live in Hampton, Virginia, and there's a Buckrow Beach right around the corner. And my assistant said, well, just go frolic in the beach. I said, what the heck is frolic? What's that? She said, just have fun. I'm like, I don't even know how. People would say relax. Because if I'm reading a book, I may be reading a nonfiction. So I have to purposely pick a fiction book, so that, still relaxing. And honestly, I promise you all, if you relax, that's why they have vacations for real. It's not a badge of honor to not have vacation time. To not take it. That's not, and believe me, in today's world, they have cut out that if you leave, that they pay you for vacation. Okay? They don't carry it over like they used to. I told you, sitting and giving your whole life to something for a gold watch. Look, people don't wear watches anymore. What they do? They tell time with the phone. So, so you just need to be able to understand that when you put your whole identity into a job, you are lessening your lifespan.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And we will take that as, final advice, that closing advice. So much appreciated. And listen, make sure you're a member of the Patreon community, First Class Family, because she was just talking about relaxing, and reading. And so that's why we have First Class Favorite Things. But if you want access to that list, you got to be a member of our private family, okay? Because if you're a reader, we have a whole book list for our readers. If you're not a reader, it's okay, because we have a whole song playlist, and then we have a list of relaxing activities, and then places to travel, because we like to jet set sometimes. So again, make sure you're a member of our Patreon community. Monique AJ Smith, please tell us where we can find you on these internet streets. How can we contact you?
I like to communicate on LinkedIn. I really like that. So find me on LinkedIn, Monique A.J. Smith.
Yes, nice and simple and easy. All right, family, you heard it here first. We've been having an amazing chat with the lovely Monique AJ Smith. Please make sure you reach out, share this out, leave your comments and all the good things, okay? We know that you can be doing anything in the world right now, but you are here with us and we are grateful. So go out there, keep being a high achieving leader, and make sure that you create your first class life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. Until next time. Bye. Do you want to be surrounded by other high-achieving women who are working on their goals just like you? Are you looking for your circle that's passionate about their own growth yet still wants to see you shine? Do you desire to be supported through collaborations and connections instead of competition? Then Cowork and Chill is your place to be. Cowork and Chill is a hybrid of virtual co-working and virtual networking. It's a community of women who are striving to build living legacies. This is the space to create meaningful relationships with other equally yoked women where you're being poured into just as much as you pour out. So if you're looking for your crew for supportive accountability, then sign up today at coworkandchill.com. That's COWORKANDCHILL, coworkandchill.com. Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. But please be sure to subscribe to the First Class Life Show. And don't forget to rate, leave a review, and join our private community so that we can continue to provide you with great personal development conversations to help you maximize your impact while creating a life full of purpose, fulfillment, and happiness. You deserve it.